With us once again is one of my favorite coaches in the whole world. It is Andy Christiansen. Hello, my friend. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for having me back.
We had such a good time talking about your book, 40/40, and all the different things that encompass you that I said, could you please come back? And you did. You flew back in. So how are you feeling today?
Fantastic. We spent the whole weekend in New York.
Nice.
Got to have some fun, got to play. It was really great.
Now, I heard you got engaged in New York.
Many moons ago.
Okay.
Yes, we did in Central Park. And we tried to find the place. We brought back our old photos and said, where was it?
Well, the tree that you got engaged. Oh, you found it?
We found it.
You found the spot?
Oh, yeah.
I love that. Send me pictures. I love that kind of stuff. I'm such a mush.
Yeah, and there was all kinds of smoke coming around, and I think we got a feeling from being in that area.
Really?
But that's a story for another day.
Okay, to be continued. During this challenging time, we are going through a pandemic. There is a health crisis going on. How are people getting stopped? What type of stories are you hearing that you're trying to help people with?
It's a great question. You know, it's interesting. I meet with dozens of people every week, and this year, 2020 has been an amazing year in so many different ways. You know, there's been the pandemic, there's been social issues, there's been, of course, political issues. Every year there seems to be that, but it's an election year. And people seem to be really wrestling with disruption. Their lives have just seemed to be put on hold, and they're waiting. They seem to be waiting. I think all of us are to some degree, like, what's next? And what I'm seeing is people are experiencing a lot of stops, like everything's stopped. You know, my diet stopped because of the situation that, and all of a sudden the pandemic.
Right.
I lost my job, now I'm working from home. So this is causing disruption. My gym closed, I'm not working out as much. So you've got career issues, relationship issues, and physical health issues. And my suggestion right now, and hopefully this will encourage your listeners, it's time to start something new.
Ooh, I like that.
You know,
begin again, like now, just
begin again.
Push a start button.
Well, there's this inertia, right? It's called Newton's law of motion. A thing at rest tends to stay at rest, whereas a thing in motion tends to stay in motion. And I feel like a lot of people have just stopped.
Okay.
And they're waiting for someone or something to restart them. And my suggestion is, why not today?
I like that idea.
Let's get going.
Talking about motion too, like I just had this visual of like taking an apple and then just like gravitational energy and just like letting it drop to the floor, right? And then you can wash it off and then you can eat it or whatever. But, you know, like you said, if you're seeing something and it's just stuck, just unstuck it.
Right.
Which would be unstick it, but I was being playful.
Well,
right, so.
Yeah, and that apple's already pre-made apple juice.
Right.
Or applesauce.
Or something.
Something, right? You know, take that advantage. I was mentioning this to you another time. I have a friend in Texas, Walter Kinsey, who had a 9.5-year-old business, just helping artists like Taylor Swift, Justin Timberlake, put on these amazing concerts. And within 4 days of COVID this year, back in May, April and May, their entire business was on hold. Not on hold for a month or 2 months, 18 months. So they were dead in the water.
It's too long. And I mean, I'm not making a judgment. I'm just saying it's too long for somebody not to be able to unstop themselves to do something else.
Right. So what do you do with that? And again, this is a season where, you know, just because the tide's out doesn't mean there's any less water in the ocean. So you just may need to go further out to find that water or around the corner. So for Walter Kinsey and Encore Live as an example, they decided to listen to their customer and say, well, what do they still want? They still want concerts.
Right.
So he went out against all odds to movie theaters, drive-in movie theaters. And they've had over 500,000 people since May go to concerts.
Oh, fun.
Amazing. Blake Shelton is one of them, Metallica. And all
socially distanced,
people out there
something
watching.
New. Oh, that's wonderful.
Live, but remote. And social distance, and everybody's happy, and they're able to get out.
Tell me another fun story about somebody that, you know, was unstoppable, that somebody that did something. Because you coach so many people. Is there another story that comes to mind?
Oh, gosh. I could be here all day, which I know we don't have time for. But one of my favorites, in Atlanta, Georgia, the Castellucci Hospitality Group. This is a husband and wife that moved from Rhode Island to Atlanta and decided to open up their Italian, Greek Mediterranean restaurant. And for years, they've just been grinding and hustling, and they made it work. And then their 3 kids grew up in the business. All went to school in New York, came back, opened up some new concepts, and then COVID hits, and they have to shut down. What are you going to do? I mean, in the restaurant business, if you are not open Sunday, you're going to have a hard time. Every day they say you need to be open. So what they did is they started working the phones, 2 generations, calling up customers, emailing, texting, saying, here's what we're going to do. We're going to have you drive through. We're going to offer meals. So on Mother's Day of this year, they had a better year, not open, just drive through, pickup orders,
interesting.
than the year before with all of their stores open and customers coming in and out.
Brilliant. A brilliant way to pivot and do something different. I like that. Now, one of the things that we talked about too on the phone is that you had a couple of ideas of ways that people at home could live it up. Right?
Yes.
And I do like my live it up tips of the day, but you came up with some practical ideas of how somebody at home could just get that inertia going.
Yes. And you know, I'm one of those guys, I can be simplistic and I can be deep, way too deep. And I've got a tool that's way too deep.
Okay.
But that's going to be something that I think you're going to offer on your website.
Okay.
Way too deep means it's a little more involved. It's called a 10-year letter. You write a letter to a friend 10 years from now, what you hope your life would become. But here's the thing.
Okay.
In the meantime.
Wait. I have a little secret to tell you.
Yes.
I have a box at a bank. What do they call those things? A safe box?
Right.
And I wrote a letter of what I wanted my life to be like, and I haven't gone to the box. Yes, I did.
When did you do it?
I don't even remember. Like maybe 7 years ago. I'm going to go open the box. Can I open it before 10 years? Do I have permission?
I'll leave that up to you.
All right.
Sure.
Permission to open the box. Okay, go ahead. Continue. I'm sorry.
And I love that idea.
I just was like, what? Okay.
Like that's the full-blown idea right there.
Yeah, I locked it up. I couldn't even read it.
How long did it take you to write it, by the way?
I wrote it spontaneously. Boom, 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 boom.
But maybe a half hour?
Yeah,
to write it out?
Yeah.
Okay. And that seems like a long time for some people, but that's exactly what I suggest people to do. I call it the Bar Room Napkin.
Okay.
Is just go into any bar or, I mean, this is the simplest napkin in the world, the Bar Room Napkin.
Yes.
And you
4x4 square.
Yes. I know there's a little more involved. This is from a restaurant that has a name on it.
Okay.
And in Atlanta. And the genius is to just sit down with your favorite beverage. Could be a coffee shop, could be a bar, called the Bar Room Napkin, and get a pen and just write it on this size of a document.
Okay.
It's going to be your living document.
Okay.
And why this size? If it's any longer, it's probably too long.
Okay.
It's too involved. And it might be too challenging. You'd be like, well, I'll get to that next year.
Right.
But if it's on something that simple, you can act on it right now. And it's all about taking
action.
The intentionality of it, being intentional.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm going to do that. So the idea is to take a bar room or cocktail size napkin,
Sure.
4x4, or even a piece of paper, square piece of paper, 4x4. You're writing down your
vision for your ideal life.
Okay.
What could be, what should be, or put another way, what on earth am I here for?
Okay.
And it's for you,
For your
the
why.
individual.
Right.
If you want to do it, your why,
Yeah.
perfect. If you want to do it for your business or your enterprise or a dream you have for that, great. Maybe flip it over and do that one too. But it needs to be for you so that there's nothing else holding you back from taking that step.
And then we decided that we were going to welcome people to send us how they're doing with things, right?
I would love
We
that.
want them to check in with us and say, how are you living it up? Or what are some of your ideas? And we'll probably share them next month.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, I'm open for that. Are you open for that?
Do we get to hear any of yours?
What my things that I'm creating?
You're going into your safe deposit box and pulling out this gold, this gem.
I know. I want to see how accurate I was.
Right.
Right? I'm like, I think it's pretty accurate because I live a life I love. I am, it matters to me. I wake up every day with purpose. I wake up every day with mission, a dedication to myself, to my family, to our audience at home. I want my life to matter. I live every day as if it's my last.
That's the way to
Right?
do it.
Because since you've met me, isn't that kind of pretty true?
Absolutely.
Right. And I think you're like that too.
Yeah, to a fault at times, but not that you're at fault.
Too much passion, too much crazy passion.
I can sometimes just be so full of energy that I need to remember to bottle it and dispense it out to other people and not just keep it all right here. And that's really my main encouragement to everyone listening is it's time to innovate. Right? Disruption is the perfect time for innovation. And necessity is the mother of invention. This is the time. So innovate, think of something new, care for one another. It's a critical time for that. And don't give up. Don't ever, ever give up.
Thank you, Andy. You've made so many inventions come to reality, and your passion speaks for itself. It is such a pleasure. Looking forward to many times when you're going to be our motivational coaching correspondent. And I wish you all the best, Andy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very, very much. Go to his website. He's a great guy. Andy Christiansen. It's that simple. Be well.